In this video, I'm going to go over crafting the perfect title for your app. And this is how to create an awesome title for your app. So back in the graphic that I had shown you in a previous video, the title is very important because if you can look down that middle category, all of those things influence both search ranking and human interest. But I think out of all of those, the title is very important because it shows up as when someone searches for something, the words in your title are very relevant to that search result. And it's also important on the human interest side because when someone reads your title, it should give them a certain impression or a certain idea of what your app is all about. And so it is very important for both Android and iOS, and that's why we're going to spend a lot of time with it right now. So crafting the perfect title. For both app stores, Android and iOS, the title is used for search discoverability and ranking. And so when people are searching in the App Store, the words in your title are used for producing relevant results. So treat the title as an extension of your targeted keywords. And this is where your keywords and your title go hand in hand. They're very important together. So you kind of have to create your keywords first before you actually decide on your title. And so the title is a balance between branding and descriptive keywords. And what do I mean by branding and descriptive keywords or titles? So generally, most apps that I've seen on the App Store are a combination of either branding or descriptive words, or often a hybrid of both. And so what I mean by a brand name, these are some examples here: Facebook, WhatsApp, Google. 10, 20 years ago, if I asked you what Facebook was, you would have no idea. People would have no idea what Facebook is. But nowadays, it's a household brand name. You tell anyone Facebook, and they know it's a social media site where billions of people are connected, and you can share thoughts and photos and everything with your friends and family. So these are brand names. The word on their own wouldn't really give anyone an idea of what each of those things mean. A descriptive title, on the other hand, if I told anyone any of these following words, you'd have a good idea of what the app or what that actually means. So as an example, there's slots, blackjack, basketball, or parking finder. Now parking finder, I don't know if there's an actual app that's called Parking Finder. I just made that up. But if I told you I had an app called Parking Finder, you'd probably have a pretty good idea that it has something to do with helping people find where they park their car or something along those lines. And so that's an example. These are examples of a descriptive title. So a hybrid between a branding and a descriptive title would be something like the following: Candy Crush, Angry Birds, Snapchat. And so a hybrid title it's still like a branded word or branded combination of words, like a phrase, but it also has some descriptive elements to it. So Candy Crush, for example, you don't know it's like a match 3 game, but you know that it involves probably, candy, maybe crushing different bits of candy or something along those lines. And I think the game has a lot of that kind of element to it. Same with Angry Birds. It kind of sets the pace to what the game would be all about. And sure enough, it's, you're throwing these Angry Birds at these pigs. And so in a way, it's now a branded phrase, but it also has descriptive elements to it. And lastly, there's Snapchat. And so Snapchat is, if you don't know what that is, it's just a way you can take a photo of something. For most people, it seems to be a selfie, and you can share it with one or more people all at once, and they can only see it for a finite amount of time. And so it's a way of sort of communicating based on snapshots of yourself. And so Snapchat, again, has a descriptive element to the title itself, but it's also a brand word now. So that's what I mean by a hybrid title. And so the majority of apps fall under one of these three categories or a combination of these three categories. And so I just wanted to sort of break it down so you understood what each element or what each one does, and the strengths and sort of the benefits of each of them. So when you're working on coming up with your app title, you want to think the way your prospective users will be when searching for your app. So you want to sort of remove yourself from yourself as the publisher or the developer, and you want to get into the shoes of somebody that would be using your app, and what would appeal to them? What would they be searching for? What are their needs and wants when they're looking for a solution that you're going to be providing through your app? And I think that's really key, is if you can sort of get into their minds and figure out what they're looking for and what needs they have and what solutions they're looking for, that will definitely help you in coming up with an excellent title for your app. So here's some guidelines to the perfect title. It is more an art than it is a science. So you really have to sort of get a feel for what is appealing to your user, to your prospective user. And you may not get it perfect the first time around. You might have to tweak it a little bit, but there's no like hard science where you can say, okay, this is the best title ever, and we will not make anything better than that. So you have to understand that it is a bit more of an art. And so ideally, a person should have an idea. I did mention this before, but a person should have an idea of what your app is about after reading your title and looking at your app icon. And so if they see your app icon in your title and they still have no idea what it's about, then that's a problem. I mean, I know there's apps out there that have still done very well that are like that, but I would say it would swing against you in terms of being beneficial. So if I could, as a quick test, you can just show someone a picture of your app icon and your title, and then just ask them, what do you think this app does? What type of feel or emotions do you get from after reading my app title and looking at my app icon? And just really ask them, probe them with those questions and see what kind of feedback you get. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing only a brand name unless you have many other means of marketing. And what I mean by that usually involves spending more money. So spending money on external advertising or external marketing, spending a lot of time and effort on building, a website and soliciting reviews and press releases and getting the media in on it and everything else. If you have all those resources, that's great. And then maybe you want to really push just a brand name. But if you're new at this, or if you don't have those deep pockets, I wouldn't recommend only doing a brand name because it'll make it much more difficult to rank highly in the App Store. So what I would recommend is think a combination of branding and descriptive words. And just as a side note here, there's actually more ASO weight, more App Store optimization weight given to the beginning of a word or beginning words and less to the end. So if you have, if your app title starts, or let's say your app title contains 8 words in it. And so let's say the first 2 words is sort of like your branding title, and then you have another 6 words that describe your app and what it does. Of those 8 words, the first few words will have more weight for App Store ranking than the last few words. So yeah, let's say the first word will have the most weight. The second word will have slightly less weight than the first, and then the third will have even less, and the fourth will have less, all the way to the end. So keep that in mind, because some people will probably try to game the system, and they'll try to stuff 24 words in their title, and if they get away with it, think that they've really they're starting to game the system and done a great job with optimizing their title. But I think Android and iOS, they've gotten smart with this, and they've given a lot less weight to the words further down the line. And I think after, I don't know what the hard number is, but there's very, very little weight if you start to stuff keywords into your title. And your app probably wouldn't get approved by the App Store, the iOS App Store anyways, if you put in too many words into your title. So here's the process for really crafting a very good app title. Gather an extensive list of keywords you're targeting. And I'm going to go through a demo of this shortly, but you want to really have a list of different words that people may be searching for, things that you've thought up yourself, and just have a whole long list. Hopefully you have even words that you find that you never even thought of, but other people are searching for. Then what you want to do is you want to go through that list and you want to highlight the ones that you really like, the ones that you think really describe or align with your app and really sound sexy. And then you want to choose the words that you like from that list that are based first on relevance, that's most important, and then second on ASO ranking. So relevance is most important because if you're making, let's say you're making an app on how to save lives as a lifeguard, just off the top of my head, and you find that there's a keyword called bicycle that's really hot. Well, you don't want to put bicycle into an app that's about saving lives as a lifeguard because it has nothing to do with being a lifeguard, at least to my knowledge. So anyways, it's very critical. That's the most important thing, is that it has to be based on relevance first and then on ASO ranking. So combine words and phrases to make your title. And there's two good methods to combine words and phrases. And as I described before, there's the branding, there's descriptive words, and then there's the hybrid title. And so what I would recommend for the method that you use for crafting your title is either make it a hybrid title, or else make it a brand plus description combo title. And so I'll give examples of that right now. I'm just going to go over to the iOS App Store and I'll find some examples for you. So here I am in the iOS App Store, and I'm just in the category of top paid iPhone apps. And I'm just going to look around here for a couple of different titles. So 7-minute workout challenge, that's a very descriptive title. An app like this, Bleck, I know this game has done really well, but Bleck on its own, it's very branded. I think that this author has done a lot of other work to promote its app, but Bleck alone, people wouldn't be searching for that before this game came out, and so you'd be relying strictly on keywords and whatever other ASO tweaks that you can put into this. But that's a weak title, in my opinion, if you're sort of an indie developer and have limited resources for promoting and marketing your app outside of the App Store. But that is an example of a branded title. So here's an example of a combination, a brand plus description combo. So full fitness, in a way, I mean, it's slightly descriptive, but full fitness is kind of like their brand for their app. And I don't know if full fitness is maybe also part of their branding for other things. But anyways, full fitness, and then they put a colon and they say exercise workout trainer. So I'd say full fitness in this case is more of like their brand, and then exercise workout trainer is their description of what their app is doing. So, if sort of a user was just to see this app icon and read full fitness exercise workout trainer, I think most people would have a pretty good idea of what that app was all about. So I think that's a decent title, and they're up in the top 100 here, or the top charts. So let's see what else we have here. So here's one: Xdocs Pro Docs and Locks. A bit of a tongue twister there, but I'd say this portion is their brand, and then Lock and Home Screen Overlay Designer is their description part of their title. And so that's, again, an example of a brand plus description combo. So see if I have anything else here. Here's another example of one. So this person's stuffed their title, and I'm actually surprised that Apple approved this app. But this is instant fitness, and then 600 plus exercises, 100 plus workouts. They've really stuffed this, and more, in my experience, more times than not, this app title would get rejected by Apple, and they would just say, you're stuffing keywords, there's too many in there, you've got to reduce it. But somehow they were able to get past the review process with this crazy title. But this is an example, I guess, of a very descriptive plus some branding title. So anyways, I don't want to belabor this, but hopefully that gives you an idea of a couple of examples of what I mean from just a branded title versus a descriptive title versus a combination of the two, and the hybrid title as well.